we are ready to take our weaving off of the loom if it is at least 3 inches. So mine, measuring from the white to the red, is 5 inches. So you'll have to get a ruler and see where yours is. So what do we do with all these loose ends? Well, they should be in pairs. So you're going to go back and knot these together. And I would suggest a double knot. 1, 2, so that it is going to stay forever. That one I did already. I have a pair here. And then if you notice, I still haven't taken my needle off of my yarn. So I am going to knot this last string around my last string on the loom. So I'm going to cut that needle off, and I'm going to wrap this around the last string. So you can kind of see how I'm doing this, pulling them. That tail's going to come through that hole, and I did that one time, and I'm going to do it a second time for a double knot. And then I'm going to try, I don't think that lasted. I got to try that again. I'm going to try to do the same thing to my beginning red string. There we go. Scooting that up. Making sure those are as close together as I can get. I think this is going to be a little tricky. I'm just going to try my best. Even if I'm just wrapping it one time and sticking that tail through the hole. Alright, so my next step, I'm going to cut those tails off. You can see a little bit of the tail, but not as much as I have here. Then I weaved so that the red was the top and the white was the bottom. I'm actually going to flip this around right now because I'm going to have this be all the extra and I'm going to have this be the bottom. So I am going to start by taking the string off the bottom, all these tabs first. So I'm going to have to take the tape off the back, and then this is going to come out. So this part's going to take a little extra time. I'm going to do the whole bottom first, leaving these little loops. So to get those, I'm still having to fold those tabs of the cardboard off and slide it off the loom. I took a little piece of cardboard with that. So I'm going to continue down this row. Alright, I have all the bottom tabs off, and I'm still looking back and I'm a little concerned about this red string. So I am actually going to tie this, now that I have a little more room, onto that white string again. Now it's on there, and I'm going to trim that red tail a little bit. Okay. So now it's going to come off the top. We'll have to take that tape off, and then you can pull that off the top tabs. This is a little bit easier. Maybe. You might have to bend those cardboard pieces to get it off. Awesome. So on your weaving, you have all these pieces of yarn, and if we were going to turn this into a rug or something, we could take each loop, cut it, and then we could tie really close down here so that you didn't have all these pieces hanging. But we're actually going to use these pieces. These are going to become hair on our creature. So I'm going to take all of these, loop them around, and I'm going to make a knot at the top. So I still want this to kind of lay flat, but now I have hair. So I'm going to trim this to get those loops off, and all those hair pieces are out. I'm going to trim this tail a little bit, and now we're ready to add things onto our creature. So after you have all of those things tied off, you're going to have lots of choices. You are going to pick 1, 2, or even 3 of the googly eyes. You can add pipe cleaners, or you can choose to do a braid. So if you're somebody who knows how to braid, you can just create braids. If you're somebody who needs a little extra help, Mrs. Cleary will have an iPad station where you can learn how to do braids, if you'd like. Braids are not required. So with these extra things, we're going to start to put them onto our weaving. The cool thing about braids or pipe cleaners is you can just kind of poke them into the weaving. So I'm going to have this braid become legs. So it's super long. It's going to be 2 legs. So I'm just bringing it through that bottom row of weaving, kind of poking it through those holes. And there are my legs. Thinking it's kind of starting to look like a bird because it has these 3 pieces that look like claws. You could use pipe cleaners if you'd rather. They could be arms or legs or hair. And again, I'm just poking this through my weaving. I'm going to kind of hook and twist that pipe cleaner on like I would the twisty tie on bread. Cool thing about the pipe cleaners is you can bend these and shape them how you'd like. So maybe I will twist these. And I might do that same thing on the other side. Kind of bend them and hook them and twist them on. And you can bend those. So I'm saving those eyes for the last thing. If you like this string as hair, awesome. If you would rather trim it, you could trim it. If you want to just kind of set it to the back, you could do that as well. I was thinking that it'd look cool if I took this pipe cleaner and cut it into little pieces for hair. So these cut with scissors as long as the scissors is going really, or the pipe cleaner is going really far into those scissors, it will cut through that wire. So I'm going to kind of twist those on. I don't know if I'll need them all or not. If you don't use your entire pipe cleaner, just set it back. Somebody else will probably use those pieces. So I'm adding all those fun things. I might even add that in the front. Looks kind of silly. And some red pieces. The eyes are the last thing I'm going to add. I'm going to do 3 eyes, and I'm going to have them on this yellow. So this is not going to dry right away. So I'm just doing 3 dots, laying those eyes in. So you can have as many as 3. If you're going to have a big eyeball, I'm going to ask that you only take 1 because we don't have a lot of them. Okay, so those are my 3 eyes, and those will dry and stay on there when the glue dries. So there's my finished creation that is going to go on the counter where Mrs. Cleary is pointing to dry.